I'm a 38-year-old man, and I've been with my wife, who's 28, for 9 years now. We've been married for the past 3 years. She was my best friend, my soulmate, and I never doubted our relationship. But everything fell apart just last week. I saw a suspicious message on her phone, and when I dug deeper, I found a text thread of 29,000 messages. She's been in an on-and-off affair with a coworker for nearly 2 years. Those messages were gut-wrenching, full of intimate details, things I never imagined she'd share with anyone else. I confronted her, and she admitted to it all. Since then, she's been staying with her parents, and we've only met once to talk about it. She's saying she'll do whatever it takes to repair our marriage. She wants counseling, claims she's cut off contact with him, and is even willing to have tracking apps on her phone. She's apologized over and over, but I don't know if I can believe her anymore. I told her I needed time to process everything on my own. She's offered to resign from her prestigious job to prove her dedication, which would mean a $30,000 pay cut. She's serious, but I don't know if any of it will matter. I also reached out to the wife of her affair partner, who was completely unaware. We talked and shared our hurt. It felt like a small relief to have someone who understands, but I'm lost. I don't know what to do with our marriage, our home, and our life that now feels like it's shattered. Since the day I found out, my mind hasn't stopped spinning. I keep questioning every moment we shared, wondering how long she's really felt this way and if I missed all the signs. She insists the affair was on and off, and even showed me her diary. In it, she had written about issues in our marriage, things I'd brushed off as minor or forgotten over time. She even had a timeline of her affair, data that, in her words, put things into perspective. Supposedly, they only met during 1/3 of the 2 years, but honestly, it only makes me feel worse. She also confessed to seeing a therapist in secret and said there were moments when she'd struggled with deep depression, even suicidal thoughts. I never knew any of this. But here's the problem. She seems willing to take all these extreme steps to show she's committed. She's even said she'll take a major pay cut by stepping down to avoid him. But no matter what she says or does, it doesn't change the betrayal. She respected my need for space but still brought up avoiding divorce, saying she wanted to work things out if I was open to it. I half listened, then told her that if it came to that, I'd expect a clean divorce. She agreed, saying she'd make it easy on me if that's what I decided. Our finances are split 50-50, so it wouldn't be too complicated. The only major asset is our house. We built it from scratch, made it our dream home, and now, all I can see when I'm in it are the empty memories. I keep going back and forth. 1 minute, I think, maybe I should give her a chance to make things right. The next, I'm convinced I can't take her back, that too much has been broken. She's trying so hard to show she's sorry, but I keep asking myself, is she truly remorseful, or just regretful she got caught? She's doing all the right things, but it feels like she's trying to keep her life stable more than actually mending our relationship. The hardest part is the isolation. I haven't shared this with friends or family because it's too painful, and I honestly don't want to hear their judgment on her, or on me, for being conflicted. I've decided to sign up for individual therapy. I've never done anything like it before, but I need help sorting through my feelings. Meanwhile, she's still at her parents' place, but I know that situation can't last forever. Sooner or later, we'll need a real plan, either for moving forward together or ending things for good. Since I first posted about this, people in the community have given some solid advice. They've suggested things like taking a break, focusing on myself, and getting legal advice just in case. One person even recommended going no contact for a few weeks to clear my head. Another reminded me that reaching out to her affair partner's wife was the right move. She deserved to know, even if it was painful. The idea of divorce has come up again and again, with a lot of people telling me I need to protect myself emotionally and financially, even if there's a slim chance of reconciling. Others have pointed out the age gap between us and said it might be a factor in all this. When we got together, she was only 19, and I was almost 30. People say there's a maturity gap there that's hard to bridge, and it can lead to issues down the line. I don't know if that's true or just an easy explanation, but it does make me think. Could that be part of why she looked elsewhere? Or is it just something people say to make sense of the mess? A few members of the community have also shared advice about divorce, especially in cases where trust is shattered by an affair. They said that even if we tried to rebuild, a divorce might be necessary for a fresh start, both for practical and emotional reasons. If she's serious about fixing things, they say she'll be willing to give me a clean break and prove her commitment from scratch. But the deeper truth is, she deceived me for almost our entire marriage, so I'm not sure I can trust anything she says now. One comment really hit home. Someone said, she wasn't sorry about cheating, she was sorry she got caught. If I hadn't discovered the messages, this affair could still be going on. That thought haunts me. She says she wants to fix things, but would she even care if she hadn't been found out? Then there's her affair partner, married with a child, completely unavailable to her. She knew this, yet she spent years chasing a relationship that could never go anywhere. It makes me wonder, if he'd been single, would she still be trying to fix things with me now? The betrayal has twisted everything I thought I knew about her. And her gestures, leaving her job, going to counseling, feel hollow. The more I dwell on it, the more I feel like I'm fighting a losing battle. Her loyalty was already compromised, and now it feels like I'm trying to rebuild a house on sand. After days of silence, she came over last night to talk. She seemed nervous but determined. She wanted to explain her side, so I sat down and listened. She admitted that our marriage hadn't been as strong as I thought. According to her, there were a lot of problems I'd ignored. She showed me a journal she'd kept for years, filled with her thoughts and frustrations. Some I remembered, but many I didn't. It was shocking. Page after page described arguments, moments of resentment, and unmet needs that I'd either forgotten about or didn't see as issues. Reading through it, I realized she'd been unhappy in ways I hadn't noticed or taken seriously. She said she'd started therapy a few years ago because of her depression, and there was even a period where she'd had suicidal thoughts. She'd kept it all hidden from me, and I wondered how I could have missed something so huge. Still, none of this justified her affair. I told her that as much as I wanted to understand, her pain didn't excuse betraying me. She apologized again, saying she was ashamed of how she'd handled things and that she'd felt trapped in a cycle of guilt and secrecy. The affair, she said, was a way of escaping from our issues instead of addressing them. It was hard to hear, but it gave me some context for her actions, even if it didn't make the betrayal hurt any less. She tried to reassure me, saying she's now completely cut ties with him and is willing to rebuild our relationship from the ground up. She's taken steps to distance herself from him at work, including a $30,000 pay cut to move departments. She told me she's committed to working on herself, on us, and that she's prepared to face the consequences, even if it means losing everything. But I could see she was holding out hope for forgiveness. She repeated that she didn't want a divorce and was willing to do whatever it took to rebuild my trust. Yet, even with all her promises, I'm torn. A part of me appreciates her willingness to change, but another part of me feels like it's too little, too late. She spent nearly 2 years deceiving me. It's not like it was a one-time mistake. She actively chose to keep this lie going, day after day, for years. How could I ever fully trust her again? And if we stayed together, would I constantly be questioning her every move? That night, after she left, I kept thinking back to the advice I'd received online. A lot of people told me to go no contact for a while, to get some distance and clarity. Others warned me that taking her back would just be setting myself up for more heartache. They pointed out that she only confessed because she got caught, not because she felt genuinely guilty. It hit hard because, deep down, I know they're right. She was never going to tell me. If I hadn't seen that text, I would still be in the dark, thinking our marriage was solid. I also thought about what people said regarding divorce. They reminded me that divorcing her and giving her a second chance aren't mutually exclusive. We could divorce to clear the air and establish boundaries, and if things somehow got better, we could explore a relationship again down the line. But if she's only willing to stay because she's still legally tied to me, then I'd rather end things cleanly and walk away. The other betrayed spouse, her affair partner's wife, has been going through her own grief and processing. We've checked in on each other a few times, and it's been strangely comforting to have someone who truly understands the pain. She's also weighing her options and has shared that she, too, is struggling with whether or not to stay with her husband. We both feel trapped by the lives we've built, yet hurt by the lies that were hidden in them. She said something that stuck with me: they chose to throw us away in secret while holding on to us in public. That betrayal of trust, the feeling of being an afterthought, lingers. The next day, I went to my first therapy session. I told the therapist everything, from how I thought we were a happy couple to the moment I discovered the texts. It was a relief to speak openly without any judgment, but it was also exhausting. The therapist suggested I take time to process my feelings, reminding me that there's no rush to decide about my marriage. She urged me to focus on myself first, to rebuild my confidence and sense of stability, rather than diving into any drastic decisions about reconciliation or divorce. I left the session feeling a bit clearer, but no closer to an answer. After that session, I went home to find a message from my wife. She wanted to know if I'd consider going to marriage counseling together. I haven't answered her yet. I'm scared that going down that path might only prolong my pain. Marriage counseling could help, sure, but it could also dredge up even more resentment and anger. I worry that I'll keep coming back to the same question: how could she betray me like this if she really loved me? I've also considered the practical side. If we divorce, I'll be left with our house and the mortgage, which would be tough to handle alone. We poured so much time and effort into making it perfect, and the idea of giving it up feels like losing another part of the life I thought we shared. But maybe letting go of the house, like the marriage, is necessary if I ever want to truly move on. By the end of the day, I was emotionally drained. Part of me is still open to the possibility of trying again, but another part feels like I've already lost too much. I'm constantly reminded of what she did, of all the lies and betrayal. I keep thinking, if I let her back in, am I setting myself up for another heartbreak down the road? For now, I've decided to focus on therapy and give myself more time to think. I haven't agreed to counseling together, and I've told her that I'm not ready to make any promises about our future. She's still at her parents'. And that's probably for the best. In the days that followed, I started accepting that this might be the end of my marriage. Therapy has helped me realize that, even if she's willing to change, I'm not sure I can ever fully trust her again. She's shown that she's willing to risk our life together for someone else, and I don't know if I can get past that. I finally met with a lawyer to understand my options, and it gave me some peace of mind. Knowing I have a plan if I choose divorce makes everything feel a little less chaotic. I told my wife that I need to focus on my own healing first before even considering counseling together. She was disappointed but said she understood. She's still hoping to work things out, but I told her I need space to decide what's best for me. I've also let her know that if I do decide on divorce, I want it to be clean and straightforward. She agreed, and we've started discussing what that would look like. Letting go of the life we built is painful, but holding on to something broken might be worse. Each day, I feel a little bit stronger and clearer. For now, I'm choosing to focus on myself. I'm taking things one day at a time, trusting that with or without her, I can build a future that feels right. And if you found this story helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more content like this. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.